Dan, are you there?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Good evening. Yeah, Tuta, you're there.
A little slow out of the starting blocks there.
Yeah, a little bit of a limp out of the gate, but you know what that means. We conserved our energy, so we'll be able to go strong during the home stretch. Good evening, Pure Officiating. Another virtual study group for you. Looking forward to a great night, fresh off of New Orleans Select Camp, the first in-person on-field Pure Officiating camp, which doesn't have a whole lot to do with our virtual study group, except for so many of you guys contributed to it. But what it does mean is that we've got some awesome plays with some incredible video that we're going to be able to work through tonight. So really looking forward to these play situations. My name's Daniel Young. Back with you from Northeast Houston, Texas. Brandon, man, back in Rapid City, South Dakota, back home. How's it feel?
Barely. Thunderstorms not ruined. Paused my travel plans last night.
I remember those thunderstorms. And we've got more coming tomorrow. So that's exciting. And then I think we even have Mr. Tuta Salam.
Yes, I'm here.
Still in the hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana?
Yes, I am still at home. Yes.
And where else would you rather be?
Who else
than
is
San
there?
Francisco, California? And is Mr. Kevin Boitman on here with us tonight too?
I'm here. How y'all doing?
There he is.
Awesome, man. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Glad to do it, guys. Had a lot of fun this weekend.
Man, Kevin, you were incredible. Those center judges, I don't know. I think we're going to go back and charge them extra. I don't know. Was that the plan, guys? Because they got coached up, brother. Let me tell you, you did just an incredible job. So we appreciate you, and we appreciate you hanging with us tonight, keeping the booth full. So, man, that's all I got. I don't know if anybody else has anything else before we get.
Did you have any announcements to make, or did you just want to press on?
I do have an announcement. Well, we've got a couple announcements. You guys, golly, Brandon, what are the announcements? I don't want to miss anything. I'm pretty excited about these, but we put this camp together. What was the vision for the camp? Was let's just put together something that's growth driven and focused, process focused. And really, really caters to the official that just wants to come and improve what they do on the field, right? Don't you think that's where we started? And I think that's what we executed. But the reality is, in college football officiating, guys retire, guys move up to other conferences, guys just move laterally to other conferences. And what does that mean? It means we got holes to fill. Supervisors need to find good officials to fill their hole. To fill the rosters. And what is really, really cool, kind of, I don't know what I would call it, maybe an ancillary benefit, just kind of like a added bonus cherry on top. We had some guys get some really great news post New Orleans camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Mr. LG Hill, long time virtual study group participant and active contributor. I think LG has sent us plays before. Certainly can see him in the chat from time to time. Mr. LG Hill hired into the Southland Conference. Isn't that right?
Yep. And LG's actually been with us since VVC, Daniel. He's been with us since Virus Virtual.
He's old school.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the OGs.
The OGs. That's right. LG, congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
We couldn't be more proud of you, more happy for you and your kind of future endeavors. So all that means is now you got to keep getting better, right? You got to keep getting better. Better. Who else? I know there's another one.
Austin Wright.
Austin Wright.
Is Austin Wright with us on the virtual study groups?
I don't know if he's on right now, but he's a member.
Yeah, no, he was a member.
Hard to know if he's on now. But Austin's he's kind of utility infielder. He'll work a little umpire. He'll work a little center judge. He'll even dip his toe in the water at referee.
Do a little referee action.
This Southland got two excellent officials, from what I could tell. That's just awesome stuff. Not the goal of the camp, but a result nonetheless. So that's just awesome.
It's kind of one of those things well, I don't know if it's exactly the case, but I think it's representative of you focus on the right things in the journey and the things that you think are important. Doesn't mean it's not awesome when other things happen that are really fun and things that are that we have goals that we're looking to accomplish. Those things. It's interesting, maybe not one-to-one, but don't you see play out over and over when we focus on just improvement and being the best official that we can be. Whatever our ceiling is, it gets raised, right? Our potential goes higher. And then oftentimes when that happens, man, people notice improvement. Improvement matters, especially if you've gone to a camp, a scrimmage somewhere at some point, and maybe still we're maybe ready for whatever level is next for you. And then you come back a year later, 2 years later, and there's, identifiable improvements from a mechanics perspective. Man, that's a big deal. And I think that's what we're all about. And it's really cool to witness. So.
Daniel, just that's on a macro level. You talk about year to year and camp to camp.
Sure.
On a micro level, and I know Brandon can echo this. I spent most of the time with the referees. I guess because I moonlight as a referee now.
Sure.
I'm going to be brutally honest, and I'm not just blowing smoke. We noticed a tremendous improvement, specifically in one of the referees, from day 1 to day 3. We were only together for less than 72 hours, and we noticed a tremendous improvement in one of the referees. And I'm not even talking about from mechanics or anything like that. We're talking like non-measurable type of soft skills that we noticed a tremendous improvement from day 1 to day 3, which it made me so happy to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a father with a little kid. Not that sounds condescending. That's not the point, but the kind of pride you feel from just being able to see appreciable growth.
That's right.
3 days, because what that means is that doesn't mean that we did anything special.
Right.
That means that you had people come with the appropriate attitude, who wanted to learn, who wanted to get better. They listened to instruction from whoever it was. They applied it, and they got better. I don't know what else. Like, that's what this is all about. I don't know what else is better than that.
Right. Because, and honestly, so you mentioned mindset. If people come in with the mindset that we are there to make them better, I don't know if that worked for me. I was thinking about that all day today. I don't think that works. Like, right. I can't make someone else
impossible.
Better. I know.
That's not even actually possible.
It's not. Like, I don't control anyone's mind. I don't control anyone's actions. I don't control anyone's work ethic. But what we can do is share things that we've shared, that we've learned, that's been shared with us, and help people to improve. We can't make anyone better, though. And that's what's it's really cool to have, to share this weekend with people with great mindsets who really came in and wanted to improve.
Yeah. They made the camp, that's for sure.
That's right. Are we going to watch a play?
But you haven't
we're just going to sit here and sit by the fire all day long.
Let Kevin talk at all.
I think you've all covered a whole lot of things so far, so we're good.
Whoa!
The camp was interesting.
Yes,
the football was outstanding. And we got some video. This video, you can see the glare on that window. If anybody has solutions for shooting through a window, I want to know them. That's not the point. Yeah. This is wide angle. So we're gonna call this. What are we gonna call this? All 30. What does that 30. Mean? 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense. That's 22 for those. We're just getting fired up here. Then what's the 30? The 8 officials. So the goal with this camera view, and we got the whole camp, right? I mean, we got the whole camp with this, is to see all 30 in the frame as I mean, the goal is to get it 100% of the time. Obviously, there'll be times where that doesn't happen. Long plays, the camera guy bumps the camera, whatever. But look, this is the footage, and so this play sequence was pretty interesting. We had a long pass, and then we had a face mask on the offense on this play. That's the second play in the sequence called by the side judge. And then you'll note how the runner was tackled. That's suspect. But look at what we can see. We can evaluate the penalty enforcement. We can evaluate the movements. We can evaluate the dead ball mechanics, the live ball mechanics. We can even, I mean, honestly, with this clear video, luckily, we can even evaluate some of the action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we mark that off. We get everything ready to roll. Late sub. Here we go. Late sub. Umpire reacts. Center judge reacts. We can evaluate all this stuff. I mean, this is excellent. So the play starts. There's supposed to be a little more action. That's all right. That's all right. Let's go to the wide angle. Yeah, live. I think I'm still kind of recovering from the weekend.
Yeah, you're struggling. Yeah, I think so, right?
Right. So the first thing we want to talk about is just as we look at this, what can we know? We can note positioning as we see this. There's some action that is that OPI or not. Don't really care. Were we in position to see it? Were we moving when that potential push up occurred? And we could evaluate all of this. I don't know if you guys are wanting to talk about this necessarily. But then let's go to the play that was really, really cool.
Yes.
As I go through this also creates a lot of interesting fast forward opportunities. So this play right here, so what's the formation? Oh, by the way, we learned another thing at camp this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we literally broke ground at camp for the entire country.
That's like breaking news.
That's
right. What do we have here? Is it trips? Is it not? I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. Why, Daniel?
Well, okay.
Right.
Well, no, let's just say it like this. So let's just assume that this guy is not a back, but he is outside the frame of the tackle.
Okay.
Well, I guess it really doesn't. Okay, let's just say that that'll help make the point. Yeah. No, that's great.
Okay.
So let's assume he's outside, even though he's in the backfield a little bit. Let's assume he's entirely outside of the tackle. So that will give us a trips formation, right? All three wide receiver keys is how we work that. When he's inside the tackle, we consider him a back. When he's outside the tackle, he's a wide receiver key. So we have trips to this side. Mm-hmm. However, with the new mechanic, in the past, the back judge would have number 3 in trips. The line judge would have number 2. The field judge would have the number 1 receiver. Now, if we take this player and he's right in the position of a tight end, whether he is on the line or off the line, just if he's aligned as a tight end in relationship to the tackle, we are now going to switch our initial key, right, Tuta? Don't let me say it wrong. Our initial key with the line judge. The back judge is going to go to the number 2 receiver, and the line judge is going to go to number 3. Field judge stays with number 1. Okay, so if he is in the position of a tight end, whether he has a hand in the ground on the line of scrimmage, like you would consider a traditional tight end, or he's in the backfield in the same space a tight end would be in terms of his relationship to the tackle, then that receiver now goes to the short wing and the back judge takes number 2. Of course, if he's offset in the backfield, it stays the same. The short wing will stay with him, and the back judge will be with number 2. Now, because, it's the CFO and things can never be too easy, the official mechanic is that if the receiver or the tight end flexes and we have a more traditional trips, in other words, if he moves out 3 to 4 yards, clearly not in that tight end space, then per the mechanics book, number 3 will still go to the back judge, number 2 will still go to the line of scrimmage official, and the deep wing will take number 1. Now, what you do with that within your own crews and your own conferences, that's your business. But that is what's going to be in the 2021 CCA Mechanics Manual.
It's breaking news.
Breaking news. We just found out last weekend that it was official.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
At camp with I think the chair of the mechanics committee was there. I don't think.
Self-proclaimed. So.
Oh no, I thought he really was. Okay.
Oh, really? I don't know who that is. Okay, he probably was. Look at this play, and we had a morning breakout about second level blocks. So this is kind of cool to see this. Right tackle is going to come out and take on this player here. That's clearly a second level block, right? I mean, that's a linebacker off the line or whatever he is. Block, runners coming this way, going to cut right off this block. We blur a little bit, but right here, what is this?
A big old handful of face masks is what it looks
like. Face mask. So interesting here. We would expect this guy to be watching through. That's the field judge or side judge. Deep wing on this side, trips opposite. So obviously our responsibility is here in some way, and maybe you guys would know how. We were looking in this area through this and picked up this face mask foul. And this was like right at the start of camp. So everybody was really fired up about this. Or maybe it was just us, but we're kind of
I'm still fired up about it.
So really interesting. And I mean, is that a threat to his responsibility? Yeah. But they're not doing much. His responsibility isn't beat. He was able to look through that and pick up that face mask. That was pretty impressive. On the field, this was early in this spring game, if I'm not. I think they did some controlled scrimmage, and then this was early, like the first quarter of this spring game. Great.
So Brandon, if we go back to the snap, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, this is a tremendous get by the side judge, and I don't even know if I'm this good to get it. So what we see immediately is that a receiver beats the defender off the line. Now I want to give some advice to deep wings that was given to us. If a receiver takes an outside release, he's going deep. In this situation, we're already aligned on the goal line, so we don't have to worry about our physical movement. Our eyes really can work for us. So if he takes this outside release, he's going deep. Now, once we realize that and he beats the defender, some kind of way we figured out it's a running play. And if we know it's a running play, 9 times out of 10 receivers that take that outside release on a running play, they literally are not going to do anything. They might not even touch the defender.
You're just trying to run him off.
That's literally exactly. It's going to run downfield. So if we know that and we watch film like this, I mean, this is just tremendous. I'm sorry. It is just a great get. So if we know that, we can afford to help out a little closer to the point of attack, because we know that our initial key is going to be literally no threat at all. So then go ahead, Dan.
No, sorry.
I was finishing up. We just can go inside and just find something else to work.
I think you're exactly right. I think that's what he did here, and that's why I think this is so incredible. I mean, this is really high-level visual mechanics. Assume everything played out like you mentioned, and that was my thought. We don't have to run, so we're able to feel our receiver with the outside relief. He's coming at us, but able to widen our vision and feel that this is a run play. Now get our eyes further inside, which was something we talked about in our breakout. Right. Whenever we had the deep wing, all deep officials and umpires together, and we looked specifically at second level blocks. I think that's just what we do here. I think we feel the run and we look inside, and now the receiver starts blocking here. So we need to get our eyes back here after this point. But I think it's really, really high level visual mechanics.
And then, is there another official that could have got this? I think, maybe the line of scrimmage official would want to check this play out and just wonder, are we looking here? This was kind of a big, funky looking collision up in the backfield. So did we get hung up on that? Are we looking at the ball carrier? How quickly can we get to this block? Because that's the tackle going second level at the point of attack on a run play.
Daniel, what are you working on this? Because it's always interesting. I never know how a back judge transitions from one side of the field to another in a run play.
Yeah, we're just all at the mercy of how quickly we can process what the play is. Because if we're able to get a really good feel, A, that it's a run play, and then B, that it's going to the weak side or, this boundary side where our key is not, then we can immediately try to get our eyes over there. And that tackle is really in the area where we would want to start looking. It's just going to be a matter of how quickly we process all of those pieces of information.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Daniel?
Kevin? Oh, was that Kevin? Yeah, Kevin. What about like a center judge or referee perspective here on this play side tackle?
Sure, and that actually kind of goes in. It's a bit really with where the other 3 or 4 officials on, because nothing's coming to us as the center judge. Nothing's coming from the other side. So we want to make sure our eyes are getting to these things on the backside to where we know that when the umpire gets out to the second level, or when the referee kicks his eyes forward, or when the line judge goes out, or when you, just like said, when you as a back judge are flipping from the top to the bottom, that you've got comfort that we're looking at some of this stuff back here. So immediately, we were talking as center judges, our eyes are going to be a little inside at the snap, probably around the guard as a center area. So when the flow is going that way from the left guard, we're starting to move that. We see a left guard block, now it's back, and then as we keep starting to move from left to right, getting into that center block that's around the 24-yard line right now, as the runner's passing that up, and then starting to move forward. Really,
that's a very suspect block right there.
It is a suspect.
You see that?
It starts out, if we can bring it back to the snap, we know it's a backside block at this point, but it's starting out as a pretty quick front side. The left tackle is out of our mind. The left guard is clear. We need to be on that area right there, seeing what's going on, which will allow the referee to free up to get to the front side on his side. It allows the umpire to leave that and get to the second level blocks quicker. And it's all part of trusting that, trusting each other, so we know, especially in that triangle with the referee, umpire, and center judge, that we know our eyes are moving to the right spot to free our partners up to look at something more important in their areas.
Okay. All right. So good mechanics. So then the challenge here is, okay, we throw the flag. Obviously, we love the call here from the deep wing. And, we want to talk about line of scrimmage. We throw the flag. The challenge now is, how do we keep officiating? Mm-hmm. This is a great play to say, look, how does this runner get tackled? I mean, look, that's the hand right here, right up in the nameplate area. And we don't get too technical with that. I mean, if it's way low down in the back, it can't rise to the level of horse collar. But this is something that we want to be able to evaluate from a lot of different angles, because these horse collar tackles are always challenge us with where we're at, looking at them, how they turn, right? And I mean, do you really feel like you see it all? Daniel, you've got the old saying. What's the old saying on horse collar, on this type of foul?
Yeah, it's a great saying. It walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's a horse collar tackle.
It's probably a horse collar tackle. So this would probably be one that we would also want to ask ourselves from what angle. I mean, I think obviously here, what are we looking at from the line of scrimmage? Umpire, you're looking through, but you're already turned, and there's really nothing here. So what are we doing with our vision from this angle? Back judge, we're planted on the end line good. We're hopefully sweeping inside out, get here, right? I mean, we have a lot of opportunity to get this. So this would just be a great play. Like if this was a crew, now this is one we would want to dissect from the previous week, dissect it throughout the week, and then get to some conclusions before our next game. so that we're not at risk to, was it an error in judgment? Was it an error in just, I wasn't expecting that, I was surprised, right? I mean, what's the root cause of why we didn't see this, you know?
Hey, Brandon, talk about the actual horse collar action itself, because we see the runner, his body goes forward, it folds forward.
Yeah.
Talk about if we can say, well, his left hand maybe pulled him forward. I know the right hand is on the collar, but the left hand pulled him forward. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I don't know if I don't see any exceptions that when we're getting pulled with force down like this, and then look at the knee. What do you call that? The knee buckle.
Yes.
This is the whole spirit and intent of the rule. And look at the defender right here, leverage his body weight around, and all that torque and force, or whatever the correct physics word is going right through potentially the front of the knee that's right. It's buckling right now. And that's why this is such an safety concern for runners, and why they prohibited this tackling technique.
So we do not need to see the runner get pulled backwards, in other words.
No.
Well, I mean, this exact tackle has the potential for the running back to be laying on the ground and one foot up pointing straight up in the air and the other foot pointing backwards. So when there's the potential for that kind of catastrophic injury, and the point of this, and I think that you're trying to make, Tita, hopefully I'm helping you make it, is that because I think that probably on the field, it's reasonable that maybe this looks a little funny and we're thinking horse collar tackle, but I don't know. It's not very, very traditional. But the way that you just broke it down, Brandon, this is not the kind of foul that we need to get technical with in terms of not calling, applying all these technical issues to keep us from calling it. This is a dangerous, dangerous tackle that we need to flag.
Right.
Was that kind of where you were going, Tuta?
Yeah, I know sometimes people may be a little technical, and I also know that I think the Federation rule book says something about pulling backwards or something like that, or immediately downward or something to that weird effect. So I'm not sure. I just want to make sure everyone is clear that the pulling action does not have to be backwards. It does not have to be directly straight down on a vertical wide plane. If the hand is in the collar, and Daniel just told you, if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a horse collar tackle.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's even, I don't have it memorized, some kind of language like that in the NCAA rule. But again, to your point, this is not the kind of foul we need to be overly technical when not calling.
So this was interesting because right here.
Wait, there's more?
Yeah. Right here is what did you got on me last week? I kept calling it the wrong thing. This is the box man. Is that right? I
don't know what you were saying.
Box man is correct.
South Dakota term. I don't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, it was weird.
Right. He's already started to move. I mean,
that's
so great. We don't want that. We want that. And how do we do that? I mean, funny whistle, we just want to, we throw the flag. Let's raise all, what about the fact that we've got something to report. That helps everybody. It's not just the crew. It's not just the player. I mean, that helps all of our auxiliary personnel too, to some degree.
Yes. Good point.
That's a great point. I was having that conversation with someone at camp over the weekend. And that was something I was not very, probably not still great at, but not very good at, especially early in my career. It feels kind of, for me, awkward, I guess, almost to bring all that attention to yourself. But that's what you're supposed to do.
That's the time to do it.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But I can empathize with those folks that feel a little that, aren't great at that aspect.
Flag is here. Run ends here. We're actually going to watch. Readjust the flag.
Oh, boy. Brandon, are you about to pull your grid out again?
Well, no, I'm not going to pull the grid out. I've got wide-angle video. That's the benefit of this.
You went nuts last week.
I know. We adjust the flag here.
In a good way.
The flag was that's good. The flag was right. Thank you. The flag was the foul. Spot of the foul is more right here. And the end of the run did not get to this big line. I'll play it back one more time. So remember, we adjusted the flag to the 15.
To the big line.
This is
That's right.
hard. This is not. Where do we spot the ball?
One
We're
tick.
spotting, yeah, we're spotting the ball here, all right, ish, and the flag is here. Previous spot was right here. So again, if we go through the process, but watch. Now we can evaluate all this in continuous motion, because where did we enforce it from? By this, we should have enforced it from where? The end of the
But
run.
Brandon, this is great. I'm telling you, this is so great because watch what I noticed this too. What's going to happen though is we got to own our positions too. We have to do that first of
Yep.
all. So what's going to happen is the center judge is going to go from the big line,
Yep.
or there's maybe some confusion. The line of scrimmage official at the bottom, who knew where the spot was because he had the spot, look where he ended up, which is perfect, which is where he should have been, right? Now,
Look,
what the center judge does is goes
look at
back,
this.
puts the
We're
ball on the
hemming
big
and
line.
hawing. 30. See what's going on here? A little bit of confusion,
Yep.
and we end up putting it at the 30. So
Now, and
basically,
then look what the headline, look what the line of scrimmage official does. He just steps over and says, "Oh well," and
Right.
then just lets it go. We can't do that.
Right.
We cannot do that.
it was our spot at the 16 from the line of scrimmage. The spot of the flag was adjusted to the 15. Spot of the foul was more upfield, but that's we don't know that. I mean,
Right.
we don't know that. So, man alive. I mean, look at this. This is playing out on this, and we have all this wide angle to evaluate this. This is great stuff. Okay, what do we do? Next play, late sub. Oh,
Brandon,
Yes, go ahead.
and I mentioned one thing on the penalty
Oh,
enforcement
please do.
and the process there.
Please do.
Yeah, because this is another good reason to kind of do everything and we get them in order, like we said. You know, we get down there and we get the flag. It gets in the wrong spot. That's normal. We need to adjust it. The flag adjustments should start before the reporting to the referee. You know, so let's get the flag in the right spot before we start getting anything else done, before there's a conversation. Why is that important? A couple of reasons. And obviously, y'all referees, Brandon and Tuta, jump in on this if I say something wrong. But the big thing is, one, once we know that's settled, now the referee knows a little more about what's going to happen. The other thing is that's going to give the center judge some time to see what's going on, or your umpire, if you're in a crew of seven and enforcing, of listening to what's going on and recognizing that, hey, this is going to be, I'm going to be enforcing this from the spot of the foul, not from the end of the run. We should all be knowing that ahead of time anyway. We'll have some awareness over time that, yeah, the flag was thrown downfield during a run. So I'm already getting in my mind that if it's against the offense, it's probably going to be a spot foul if it's behind.
Right.
So that's number two. Number three, this is penalty enforcement's a crew concept, not just the center judge, not just the wings. And Tutai, you said it, own your position. Everyone has to own it, but especially the four officials, the two officials, the center judge and the umpire. The umpire is not out of penalty enforcement anymore just because we have center judge. In fact, he should be overseeing it and know exactly where the ball is being come from and where the ball is going to as a final check to say, hey, you're in the right spot, or hey, something's wrong. And if especially those four, if anyone has a feeling that something went wrong, let's stop everything before, like you just said, Tuta, the line judge just moves over and shifts to the position. So it's a process that's involved in timing, and it's a process that involves more than just one or two people, and all of them have to be on the same page.
And I don't know if we knew where to actually start enforcement from.
I
don't see any communication, any strong communication that says, okay, we're going to go from the 16 to the 31, or we're going to go from the, normally I would love for the center judge to either point to his foot or something where we're going to start, point to the spot. But I don't see that. We were confused between the 15 and the 16. And then there never was any resolution. So then we just went somewhere. We started marking the penalty off without knowing where we're going from.
And I think that tends to happen just because maybe we feel, for whatever reason, we're going too slow, or we need to speed things up because we've been told we want to get these enforcements done by the time the referee turns his microphone off. And while that's all true, we don't want to be fast. It's not about speed; it's about efficiency. It's about taking
Thank
our
you.
time. Communication is still important, and I still suggest on a 15-yard penalty, or really anything but a line of scrimmage 5-yard foul, center judge or umpire, whoever it is, you make eye contact with both wing officials.
Yep.
And we have the start. We are all in agreement on the starting spot at that point. And the umpire, again, I think the umpire should be ready to say, we've got you. I will see you when you get to the final spot. And it's all about just taking that extra breath and communicating and making sure we're all on the same page at the start.
Good. So, okay, let it roll, and then we go right into the next play. Here comes a sub right here. Good recognition, referee. Anybody else? Yeah, check it out. We can see all this. Watch this, official. We got the sub right here. We're calling it out. We got it from there. We got it from the line of scrimmage. Referee comes in. Good reaction, umpire and center judge. Perfect. Now, referee, what we want to do here is really almost over-exaggerate turning towards the defense with our arms out in iron cross, as if to communicate with our body language. Here's your chance. You see what I'm saying? Here's your chance. You've got your opportunity to match up.
Yep.
And we've got good recognition here. Scott was the center judge here. Good recognition there. And thanks, Scott, for calling yourself out. That's not what this was about, but that was pretty cool that you said that in the chat. So, just something that we want to get used to doing, especially subs like this. It doesn't look like we even look at the defense, so that would be another improvement point. All right, so that is part of the benefit of wide angle video from many different perspectives. Guys, anything else? Let's get to play 2, but one last chance.
All good. Love
Okay.
wide angle.
I know, right?
So good.
Yeah. Well,
so
Brandon, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't want to be too verbose, I guess, but you drove past that part about, and you didn't drive past it, but look, as a referee, the whole point of the substitution mechanics is, by rule, if an offensive player, if team A substitutes, team B has to be given an opportunity to match up. They don't have to match up, but they have to be given an opportunity. So if we go into sub mechanics and we just throw our arms into the iron cross, that's not good enough. That's almost like signaling a down without looking at whoever you're signaling the down to, because now you're not communicating, you're just signaling. And signaling without communication is really a waste of your time. So if you're going to just give a iron cross signal without turning to see and really doing the next step of seeing if the defense is attempting to match up, well, you're just wasting your time. Don't even go into sub mechanics. If you're not going to check the defense, just don't even go into sub mechanics.
Yeah.
So we really need to understand why we're doing the things that we're doing and be purposeful and intentional with all of our mechanics.
Can I say something? Are we going to talk about sub mechanics anymore tonight?
Probably, maybe. Okay. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Do we have? No, we don't have another sub mechanics type of play. Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, I just, we had this conversation in our back judge group a lot over the course of the weekend. And, some of the conversation was about, should I signal, should or not? And that's one thing. But the bigger picture is, I think to your point, Tuta, is that we have purpose in our particular role in the substitution process, whatever position we are. And so just for the back judges, and even I think, maybe offside, deep wings, we have a responsibility in the process. We're not managing the process. We have professionals to do that for us. But especially as back judges, we really need to be cognizant of all of the moving parts of the substitution process, because it's conceivable that at some point it could be on us to come in and say, stop play, and say, wait a minute. And who knows what comes after wait a minute. And it could be a bunch of different things. But we need to take a part in this process, an active part. And so, I feel like there were a lot of times where maybe that was new to us over the course of the weekend, and that's okay. That's all right. That's what we were there for. But I felt like it would be a good opportunity for me to say that we just need to be an active participant in the substitution process. I can't tell you, how many times I've gone to a Brandon or another referee at a break or at halftime or timeout and said, hey, were we close there? 'Cause I saw you gave him a little extra time. That was close, wasn't it? Just so that I'm staying active and understanding how we want to manage that process in case I need to jump in and save the day. So that's all.
Yeah. So like here, would you be given a signal and then almost be prepared and you'd be prepared and then everybody reacts, so you're fine.
Yeah. So I do. And
yeah,
I give a sig, and sometimes it's a little superfluous if the referee's already up, but it's more about me just being really consistent. And if I give a signal and I know the referee's up, it goes down immediately, but I've now engaged my brain in this whole thing and now I'm a part of it. If I'm the first to go up, I'll wait until the referee goes up. And usually if I'm able to, if I have an O2, alert the referee that, maybe we have a sub coming in behind you that you haven't seen. And I'll hold it up until the referee has it. Because again, not necessarily managing the process like you guys, but wanting to be engaged in it.
So let's change gears. This is our TV feed. We are going to have audio. So let's just let this one loop a couple times. I think we have TV and wide angle, if I'm not mistaken. The last wide angle got cut off. That was probably the video editor's fault. So
it definitely was the video editor's
fault. Touch base with that person.
Probably.
Okay, so we've got some interception, balls out, got different things. I just going to come in, guys, just mute your lines for a second.
He was down. So whose ball is it? It's ball. We're going that way. By team. Okay. First down. The ruling on the field is an interception, fumble recovered by. No fumble. No fumble. First down, Alexandria.
All right. I don't. Did that play? Did everybody hear it?
Yes.
That was awesome. Oh my gosh.
Same player, all 30. And we'll get into the play with a little more detail. Interception, then there was some confusion because the ball's out. White rips the ball out. But look, we have a strong ruling from the field judge that no, runner was down before. And you heard that, right? So you heard that. You heard the communication. And even the referee was about to make an announcement about there being a fumble. And no, hey, look, no fumble, right? You heard that. That was so cool. So it's interesting. Do we want to let this loop one more time to hear that again? Or,
please.
Let me just stop it and restart it because it's so cool.
Let's do it one more time.
And then we'll go into it. So here we go. It's going to come. So start with the TV, more of a TV look. Interception. Return. Got some blocks to talk about. Some activity at or at the end of the play to talk about. And we got to sort through this. All right, here comes
play is a down ball right here. He was down. So whose ball is it? It's ball. We're going that way. By team. Okay. First down. The ruling on the field is an interception, fumble recovered by. No fumble. No fumble. First down, Alexandria.
My favorite part of that. So whose ball is it?
Whose ball is it? That's so real, isn't it? Oh my God. We have all these amazing conversations in our virtual study group booths, and that's such a real one.
Yeah.
Whose ball is it?
Right. So back to the TV feed. Here it is. Interception right here. Let's start the return. Have you ever seen this? Watch this player. Watch this player go into this player. Ready? Slow it down. Boom. Reverse mechanics, right? It's going the other way.
The reverse mechanics on this are really good too. I can't wait to talk about those.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the passing team. I guess you got to be ready for everything down in the bayou, right?
That's one of the most strange things I've ever seen in my life.
Why do you think that's so strange?
He's making a hit. That's what he's
doing. I think he knows the guy's coming to block him. I think he's preparing for the block.
Right.
I think so.
I know, but usually like the goal is to kind of go and tackle this guy with the football.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're an O lineman, the goal is just to annihilate somebody.
That's right.
That was this guy.
Who wants to block you.
This guy's a good lineman. Likes to use those hands. We found that out. But he's good, and he just wanted to. He just said, "You know what? I'm just
You're
going
gonna
to
block me. Is that what you're gonna do?"
All right,
It's a mistake.
here we go.
Don't do it.
Process of targeting defenseless player. Yes or no? So
No.
now, so let's go to the punchline on that. Is this a player receiving a blindside block?
No.
Ooh, Daniel. So we're looking at super slow mo, Daniel. I'm gonna tell you, I
On the field, this
Whoa.
is crazy.
can you go back to the loop, the regular speed play, Brandon,
Yeah.
and just watch that kid. God, that was a very strong no by you, Daniel.
You guys should have come into the deep breakout
Well, I know.
on Saturday morning. Sunday
I know.
morning, sorry.
You watch this play?
Yeah, we talked about this very block.
Oh,
the
really?
consensus- That's great.
Let's hear
So
it, Daniel. That's great.
there it is.
That's why I remember the field judge just these reverse mechanics are. I mean,
Yeah, he's all over it.
really
I mean,
strong.
he's all over it. It's all over.
Down ball right here. Down ball right here. So whose ball is it? We're going that way. By team. Okay. First down. The ruling on the field is an interception, fumble recovered by. No fumble. First down, Alexandria.
Can never get enough of that.
Right. So talk to us, Daniel, about the conversation when you guys evaluated this play.
Yeah, we did. And we had the same conversation. First was, oh my goodness, did everybody see that block? Wait, did everybody see that potential blindside block? Wait a second, that's now the defensive player in the context of the runner. and so I think when you watch it and just if you just start at the contact, there's a lot of potential to kind of think it's a blindside block. Mm-hmm. But if you watch, and maybe this is really, well, not maybe, this is really, really challenging when we're in reverse mechanics. But if we pick up right now the team B player who's in blue, we see him right now change directions to pursue, to block this guy. And I think he gets to about the 30-yard line
and realizes
and either A, he realizes this may be a bad idea, or B, he just becomes the recipient of the collision instead of the deliverer. But I think his whole purpose in changing directions towards the middle of the field is to go block this player.
So if that's how you judge that, then there's no chance you could rule it a blindside block, legal or illegal or otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Brandon. You're saying he's not.
Yeah.
It's not a regular blindside. It's not an illegal blindside. It's not even from the blindside.
That evaluation of this would mean it's not a blindside block.
Got
Correct.
And it certainly looks like he's moving toward him, and if he turns his head at the last second, that's not going to protect him.
Great point, Kevin. Very good.
All right. Okay, good. 914 is off the table. Is there an attacking indicator with taking aim at his opponent?
I think so.
Yes.
Who was saying
about it? Who was the 1% in the session that said no, right? Remember that?
Right.
Great. We already ruled out defenseless, so then now we have to ask, is this forcible with the crown of the helmet that what? Rises to the level of targeting. We had to say that over and over again. I don't even remember what night that was. That feels like a year ago.
It does. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Did we ask if – I know you asked if he's taking aim. That was your way of asking, is there an indicator?
Yeah. Is he attacking, taking aim to develop an indicator of targeting? Right.
I want to skip that step.
Oh. Did I not say that?
No, you did. That was the 99-1. Daniel was sleeping. Right. Maybe he's the 1% who thinks
I thought that was the forcible. I thought that was the – I remember him asking if he was taking aim.
Daniel, that's last, Daniel.
Yeah, that's the third element, man.
Correct. And you've said that as well.
Daniel, do you need to go to the next camp?
No, I'm going to. I don't know.
Oh, good.
I don't know in what capacity you may be.
So is it forcible with the crown? From this angle, it looks like it.
Certainly looks like it.
Yeah. I would judge
That
so.
old dip and rip. This is crazy. How many times have you had targeting on reverse mechanic by the passing team? You know what I mean? I mean, that's just wild. So there's that. Okay, great evaluation, but who's looking at this? Because we see our umpire, and I think we're okay because this is early. We're still turned this way. So now developing this out is going to take some time. I think it blows up on us, right? 5 yards away. What do you think about the umpire?
I think that's going to be just elite visual mechanics to get there in that short time span.
Of course,
no way can the umpire see that.
Right.
It's way too close to him, and like Daniel said, it happens too quickly, too close to him. There's just almost no way.
From the line of scrimmage, we're thinking reverse mechanics, so we're in a hurry. And I totally can understand why, but like we've got time here to maybe settle in and try to pick somebody up that's going to do something like this. I don't know where we're looking. It's just very likely that we're still looking at the football. You see what I'm saying? Very likely we're still looking at the football because that's the easiest thing to do here in scramble mode. You know what I mean? Back judge, Daniel, this is where I was standing. I didn't know it was a foul. I mean, I thought maybe blindside block. I couldn't really see this level from behind here. I think I was like way over there somewhere. What do you think looking through this to pick up this action?
Oh, man. I mean, I think that's probably the most appropriate place for the back judge to be looking when we start talking about being in front of the runner from a inside out orientation. But
watch this. Wide angle.
Here we go.
We're starting on the move. It looks like the back judge is doing a pretty good job and talk about this. I mean, in a reverse mechanic, what would the back judge gain by sprinting as hard as he could to the 50, for example?
Yeah, not gain a lot by that, but also, we're already 35 yards away from that block when it happens. Right. So, I mean, I know, like you said, we don't gain a lot by a few yards, and it's certainly diminishing return when we start sprinting, but there is a sense of, I got to get a little bit closer here if I'm going to see any kind of detail.
Gotcha.
So I would be moving at that point probably too, just to try to get into a position to see something. And even, I just think from this angle, even if you're able to stop and watch this block, or maybe if you're jogging, man, picking up the details of that crown through the back of the defender, picking up the details of the potential crown. I don't know that we're 100%
exactly
video, but I think I would just feel very, very proud of myself if that was something I was able to pick up and process the details and make a decision one way or another.
Is this good? We don't talk ever about this because we don't have the video to look at it. 30 yards. Is this where we want to be?
I mean, not me personally. I think we're to the point, Brandon, where we say things like inappropriately, get wherever you need to be to officiate the play, right? Be where you need to be to officiate best. And we know those principles that we rely on from mechanics perspective are getting in position and watching and just officiating at those critical moments. But most of the time, listen, if we're having a tough time processing what kind of play we're officiating and where the threats are coming from, maybe that's a good place for us to start, is a little bit deeper. I'd prefer not to be 30 yards away from the play because, again, it's not always about distance, but distance matters when you're talking about seeing and watching details. So I like to be a little bit closer, 25, 20, but the range is 25 to 28 from a mechanics perspective. So I wouldn't tell somebody you should not be at 30 yards.
I guess if you're at 30, then the next conversation would be, with the benefit of this, let's just maybe stay put, because look at these routes.
There you go. That's right.
Look at these routes in here. We had this one. This is the deepest route, and it's at what? That's like
5 yards away.
from him, but what about from the line of scrimmage?
Right.
I think it was
7
yeah.
or 8.
7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the back came out here. This guy ran out here. Number 2 up here dragged, and this guy ran kind of this hitch or whatever you want to call that. So that's where we're at. So I mean, what's driving us backward? We already started deep. Let's use that to our advantage and just stay still.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, and Brandon, you know, I know Corey likes to be deep, but I
But he
don't
doesn't
even
move.
think. Yeah, I know, but I don't even think I'm looking at the field judge or the deep wing at the top.
Right.
I'm sorry, I think that's just way too deep, and I think even Corey would agree with that.
I agree.
I mean, 27 to the 47 is 20 yards, and then you go to the 57. So the deep wing is 30 yards.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now that's literally crazy. I'm sorry.
Right. So good stuff. It's just that look, depth is fine.
Not literally crazy.
That's literally crazy.
Depth is fine, but again, let's just, if we're going to be deep, use it to our advantage and don't bail out.
That's it. That's it.
So the judgment, you know, that happens now was really interesting, really debatable. Obviously, if, you know, the team in blue wants him down, the team in white wants it as a fumble. Remember now, we got to work this recovery. And I don't even know. I think blue ends up actually recovering the football, and we're going to get into working the recovery later. So let's not go in deep into that yet. Kevin,
but we can talk from a replay perspective. What? Oh, you was going to Kevin. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin. I mean, anything here just about this? Where I know that the center judge has the goal line, but that doesn't mean that you just give up all different kind of blocks.
No. In fact, yeah, we talk about it. The center judge has a goal line and self-preservation. Of course, if there's a return head on, you want to be safe. But hopefully, as we're backing up, you know, if we can backpedal initially, but turn and look back, hopefully one of the things we're finding is blocks. I like to try to find someone going against a grain for a potential blindside block. And the potential targeting that's here, that block by the white player at 30, you know, that's something that the center judge may be able to pick up, depending on if he's got a feel of the path of the ball where it's intercepted. And it all starts of when the center judge picks up that the ball has turned over, that possession's changed. And if there's a big crowd, that can tell you, but otherwise, if you don't necessarily know it, it might take a second because you may be working off another block in transition. Yep. And so it's not, best case scenario, center judge has a good view of this, although possibly on a straight line in this particular one. But best scenario, center judge can help out here. And then as the play goes on, moving back, but keeping eyes to blocks in front, and particularly trying to find blockers coming against the grain for a potential blindside or worse. And then as you get here towards the end where the play is coming to an end and the pile is starting and you know the play is over, to start closing in, but not closing in too quickly. You want to close in and keep an eye to keep a wide vision around the pile for that last person that may come in and pick someone off the pile. And I think referee and center judge in this type of situation are usually in the two best positions to see that sometimes.
Good stuff.
So Brandon, I know we murdered this play, but I know we have some replay officials that join us from time to time. Let's just really quickly talk about from a replay perspective. Obviously, this is a change of possession play, so the reviewable element on this play is the change of possession. But if I'm a communicator, what I want to make sure is that the replay official doesn't miss the fact that we have a potential targeting action to also evaluate. So when we evaluate and when we review a play, the entire play is reviewable, not necessarily the element at the end of the play that would really draw us into the review.
That's a good point. Really on the field was runner down. And so
Correct.
if we have indisputable video evidence of a fumble, then if we're going to change it, we need to have a recovery.
Yeah, that's
But
correct.
you're right. You get focused on that and you miss the fact that, I mean, how are we not talking about targeting? Everybody, especially if there's something like an injury, which of course we've already said before, we don't let injuries dictate our calls. But if somebody's injured and then they go back and look at that and it's a crown of the helmet shot, how could the replay official miss that? The game was under review.
Right.
I mean, we know how easy that is because you're so focused on this fumble and who recovered aspect, right?
Yes.
Was this down? Did he fumble? Who recovered? And just, okay. Then you make a decision and think the job's over. That's kind of what happens. So ball's out. It's impossible to tell. I think we all thought this was a fumble, but impossible to really tell. And then who recovered it? Something we got to continue to officiate through. And so let's talk about that here in a little bit. Man, good plays, huh?
Yes, tremendous plays.
Oh my gosh. So next play up, remind me what we're doing on this play. Oh, this is 2 plays. So we have a quarterback keeper up the middle. I just laugh because I remember the head coach. Our quarterback is live. It's just so funny. Running teams, so they wanted the quarterback live. Of course, a lot of the passing teams didn't. Okay, now we spot the ball. So we spot the ball, and you can see from the live shot that the ball is spotted tail on the big line going out. So, we're at the minus 45, but the ball is really beyond the way it was spotted. Okay, now we have a kind of a broken play. We throw it. We have a nice, strong incomplete signal. And we have a flag. Okay, what's the flag? So here comes our officials. We're going to talk through it. No audio on this one. That's okay, though. We're going to talk through it, and eventually we get a signal. I mean, we get everybody involved. Here comes the umpires there, the 2 line of scrimmage, center judge, you got the ball. And the conversation on this one was centering around was the quarterback beyond the big line when he released the pass. And so this is going to be really interesting. All right. TV feed only, 2 plays. I want to let that play. I know it's going to loop. I want to let everybody catch up to it. And I don't know how long to do that, but let's go to, just let it loop a little bit. So I think you can see this situation taking place. Here we go. All right. You see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to make sure everybody at least saw that live shot once.
Absolutely.
Share it. All right. And then we'll step through it. So, and this is going to be, let's see here. Let's go back.
So Brandon, let's ask the most ridiculous question ever.
Ask it, and let's let Kevin answer.
What is the line of scrimmage? Where's the line of scrimmage?
Well, what's the spot? I mean,
yeah, let's go back before that.
So we can evaluate what the spot should have been, but that's really irrelevant.
Fully irrelevant. Because
the line judge is standing there where look at this. Line judge is, his downfield foot is on this big white line. Right, Kevin? I mean,
right, I agree.
The headline judge is meandering a little bit this way. Who cares?
Right. Put the ball down, man. Let's go.
Right. So we've got headline judge at the top, downfield foot a little bit off of the big line in this shot, as you can see. We know the line judge is standing on the big line. Okay? So we put the ball down. Where do we put the ball down?
It looks like we put the ball down with the tip to the big line.
The
back
tip,
tip to the big line.
back tip, right? Yeah.
Right.
If you want to talk about the nose or whatever it is, I guess if this is the nose up here, the tail of the ball is back here.
Right.
We got on to talk nose and tail. I mean, what the heck, Kevin? What now? I mean, so you make a decision. Teams are playing fast. How do you do this?
Well, the one thing is don't go faster than we need to. One thing, center judges, I think, well, we all as a crew, we all can get caught up in the speed of the game. The thing we have to remember is they play at our pace. We do not slow the game down, but we don't hurry it up either. It's hustle, don't hurry. And I think a lot of times, especially center judges, because we're so used to running, we're so used to thinking speed, is that when we get up there, and like this team does here, the offense is up there and they're in formation, we kind of get into this feeling like we got to move quick because they're on my back. And so we end up putting the ball down, maybe taking less time than we need to again, communicate and make eye contact with our line of scrimmage friends, and then we put the ball down and get off. The thing is, let's not worry about that. They're going to take another second. You never have to go as fast as you think you have to go. We can take that other second, square up, take a look at whichever official we're going to take the spot from, whoever the covering official is, and let's match up with them and get a spot, put the ball down, then at our own pace, then step through the gap and come back. And so that's the first lesson on this is let's slow down, take our time.
So look, if you were going off the line judge's spot from the previous play, we've got a foul.
Yes, and
the back foot. The ball's gone. Everything was released beyond this big line. But Kevin, if you were going off the head where we actually put the ball, this is not a foul.
Agreed.
Because I can't say that everything's beyond. Let me make one more point and then go ahead. The line judge made the call, and he reported that the body and ball were, when the ball was released, the whole body and the ball were beyond the big line. This is fascinating. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And what you also have throwing an issue into the line judge's view is the very reality of our auxiliary squad. If you look in the distance, the box man is tilting the box back toward the big line, giving an indication if the line judge is looking across and sees that the line of scrimmage is actually behind where he is. It's a visual cue. He's obviously holding the line of scrimmage, but it's one thing else that's in your eyes and in your mindset. Another thing to notice is, where did we say we end up with the tail of the ball on the big line, right?
Yes.
So let's take a look right now at where we are right there. The headline judge looks like he's got his back foot on the big line and his downfield foot short of the tick. So he's playing the front of the ball right now. Look at the line judge's stance.
Mm-hmm.
The foot is nowhere. It looks like he may be a yard up too. Not that there's necessarily a de facto point where we all have to be, but what we're seeing here, yeah, right. Is he on, off? We're going to make him legal probably, but
we try to get a view of this. Right.
He may be. And so the center judge is one place, line judge is another, H is another. Mm-hmm. And so it's a question of where we are to begin with. And it all comes down. The breakdown begins with going a little too fast up front, and then one of the wing officials just releasing their position to the other. Maybe they didn't think it was a deal, or maybe someone thought the other person had the spot, or whatever it was. At this point, as the center judge is spotting, the center judge is making the decision, at least, that he's taking the spot from the H. So if there is a problem with that, we should have some communication either with the H or the L saying, no, don't take me, point to the other one, or move the ball back, forward, whatever it is. But I think we get caught up sometimes in speed.
The line did really have a good spot. I mean, the ball, it opens up to his side.
Yeah, it does. And it looks like he's pretty good with the possible double action here, and actually gets a pretty good spot and comes in with the hand up with, 40-second clock pretty much indicating I've got it. Whether that gets translated or communicated into the middle, I don't know. But that's something we want.
Well, at this point, Kev, look at his, like you're saying, look at his body language, and his body language up here is more indicating a bit of a softer take, a bit of a softer evaluation of where the spot should be. Whereas Look at the line judge's body language. To your point, it's indicating
Agreed.
I've got this.
Agreed.
This is
And
interesting.
H looks like he's clearly trying to mirror up at this point if he can.
Right.
And so L, and that's a good reason not to mirror signals. You know, we've got L, I've got it. I'm giving the dead ball signal. I am coming up very confidently. Now, I'm not sure. I can't tell right now on my screen if H put his hand up late as well, which might give a signal to someone that he's got it too. But to your point, L comes through strong initially. And I would say maintain that strong. If you want the center judge to take your position, maintain that strong and let them know, whether it's on a radio, whether it's by voice. They say, hey, I've got it. Because you're right here, it looks like he gives the spot up.
He does. And you know what is the other mitigating factor? This team A, look at them. They're at the line, man. They're ready to play. And so to your point, we feel pressure to move faster. And we just can't sacrifice accuracy for speed, you know, because we talk about anytime we're inaccurate, I mean, forget about efficiency. Efficiency goes to zero if there's any inaccuracies.
Well, and it's every time we're inaccurate, this is when the illegal forward pass happens, right?
Right.
Yeah. It never happens on the play that we're dead accurate on. It happens on one of these, and then we start looking at plays. All right, now, maybe they did foul, maybe they didn't, but it's compounded by something we may have done on the previous time. And again, the thought is, like I've always said, you never have to go as fast as you think you need to go. And you can count it here. They're ready to go. But when they put the ball down, how long does it actually take before they snap? It's another 7 or 8 seconds, right?
Let me ask you this now. Let's say we do get communication, because look at these linemen. I mean, they're all over this big line.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys are here. They're all over this big line. What do you do as this center judge right here to basically, I mean, I hate to, but you're like, you gotta mark your territory here. These guys got to move back. I mean, do you put your forearm up? Do you use your voice? Do you do both? Do you do something else?
I've yelled back up, because one thing I've found, much more when the ball's coming in from the side zone, I've found that the line of scrimmage, they're running up to get ready for the play. They may actually take a half yard or a yard step further just to do it. I don't think they're trying to cheat or anything. It's just what they do.
Right.
And so I'm often coming back in, back it up. And it took me a little while to develop that, just because, as you know, I'm not a very yelling person. I'm very quiet, which works out in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
But it's been saying, hey, back it up. And I'm not going to put the ball down until they give me room to do that.
And I think there's some point from the center judge position where we can go a little faster to save time now and make up some time later. So I get that we definitely want to make sure nothing here is a problem. But, that's where we're at. It's our area of the field. We may have even worked that block. Okay, they're getting up. Now, look, we kind of just start walking through here. And there's a lot of bodies in space to navigate. But, man, I mean, we do have to get up there because the ball's laying on the ground right now. And these linemen are playing this as the spot. This is the spot. This is the spot. We haven't even touched the ball. We haven't even touched the ball. They're playing that as the spot. So, and I don't know if we really could have done anything, but slowing down here really forced us to speed up, here and just kind of get it down. And I know where the headline judge was, so I don't blame anybody. I don't care. No. This is just a great training opportunity. But, if we would have maybe got up there a little quicker after we clear that dead ball action, we'd had a little bit more time to methodically place the ball accurately.
And something else I'm thinking of, where is this is about a 3-yard gain?
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3-yard gain in between the hash marks, right?
Right.
So the other thing is, if the center judge, and this is the rapport and the feeding off of each other with the center judge and the umpire, if there's a good recognition that the center judge is staying back, especially here, working some plays, and the ball is just a few steps in front of the umpire between the hash marks, umpires, don't be afraid to get that ball and spot it yourself. It's not saying it's always going to be the case, but a lot of times if it's that 3-yard dive and it's kind of at your feet, which here I think umpire ends up about 4 yards away from it. Nothing wrong with the umpire getting that ball and looking and spotting it just like we used to do in 7. And
because now
The
That's
center
right.
judge will reverse mechanics and start counting the offense.
That, and look, now the umpire is already working on spotting the ball, gets it in the right spot. Maybe we have communication. And then when we get to here, umpire is going to back up. And now let's say we have a sub from the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Should the umpire prevent the snap, or does the center judge now resume normal responsibilities of holding up the snap for the iron cross mechanic from the referee? Assuming the umpire spotted the football is what I'm saying.
Sure. Well, if the umpire spots the football, looks up, and we go into an iron cross, I think the umpire can certainly talk to a center and hold up. I think we saw some examples of this in the other one, that when the umpire comes up in an iron cross to the snapper, I think the center judge still wants to come up at least to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In fact, should probably get in front of the quarterback, since that's really who we're communicating with.
There you go.
So, the center judge, I don't think is going to abdicate his role, but certainly if the umpire's up there helping out, we don't need two people side by side, but we do want to come up still and help out. At least to, as I put it, if the umpire is talking directly to the snapper, I'm going to make sure I get in front of the quarterback. And so he clearly sees me and doesn't call for the snap in that situation.
Mm-hmm. So line of scrimmage, line judge, you got this spot. We have to get the football where it is. A lot of us, I think we're just okay with having casual spots when it doesn't matter. But when we have casual spots when it doesn't matter, how do we all of a sudden just flip the light switch on when it does? And this one didn't appear to matter until it did. Little things become big things. Really fascinating thing. I don't know how deep you want to go, but man, the conversation about this play Saturday, was it Saturday night?
We talked about it
2 days ago
with several of us, right?
Yeah, they were probably still, this was kind of the after everybody kind of broken up, but there were still several watching video. And man, this was just fascinating. So who would think the length of the football really matters to Todd? And that's just crazy.
I know. And then if you're a line of scrimmage official and you mentioned it, I mean, who cares? All right, he moved it a ball length too far forward on my spot. Who cares? Whatever. Let's move on.
But I'm telling you, the line judge literally reported he released the football with his whole body beyond the big line.
Correct.
That's the way he reported it.
Which makes sense considering that was the initial thought on the spot.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
These are things, like you said, we've all been here. We've all been
here. Yeah. So,
Brandon, there's a question asking about wing officials mirroring the dead ball signal.
Wing officials mirroring the dead ball signal. I mean, if you've got mirroring the dead ball, I was going to answer that wrong question. I don't know exactly what the purpose to mirror it would be. I don't have a very strong opinion other than that. I think if you've got the spot, the ball's dead. Let's get the play clock started. If you got a crash, you got your hand up. I don't see really any reason to mirror the dead ball signal.
I'm with you. I don't see a reason to ever mirror anything, to be perfectly honest, unless we have a pregame conference with the clock operator, and the clock operator says in this bottom left-hand corner is a blind spot, and I cannot see the covering official. So if we have a play in this area, you need to make sure everyone else gives me a signal. Other than that, I don't see why we would ever signal anything. And I see Kevin Vickner also chimed in. He says, no, we don't need to mirror dead ball signals.
And I would agree entirely. Remember this too. We don't talk about this a lot, but signals under the NCAA rules are just as bad as whistles.
That's right.
And so, let's say we have a fumble or something, and we've got a line judge who gives a dead ball signal, and then H comes up with a dead ball signal too, and now we've got a question. Well, the ball was really out. It wasn't dead. And replay's getting involved. The question is, all right, so the line judge messed it up, but H, you put your hand up. Your signaling is dead. So did you have the ball down too? And it starts giving an image of, are you really looking outside your area?
Right.
Why is your hand up? Are you making a ruling that you have the ball dead?
That's right.
If you are and it's in your area and you're the covering official, great. We may have times when 2 or 3 officials put their hands up. But if you're just holding it up because someone else is holding it up, it really starts begging the question, what are you looking at?
That's
and
right.
why are you doing what you're doing? Because then it's almost as bad as the H and L each give a touchdown signal. Okay, the ball is short. Well, all right, so someone got it wrong, but the other official, why did your hands go up? Did you have it a touchdown as well? It's just kind of a unnecessary thing and can only lead to problems, in my opinion.
All right. Well, it only got wackier. I mean, all 30 angle. Ball's going to come out kind of funny. We've talked a lot about this.
Yeah, we did.
The lineman tries to catch the ball. Lineman tries to catch the ball, and then we've got incomplete pass signals all over the place. So ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. We can see how this all 30 angle captures everything. I was watching this play. I was like, it's really just interesting to watch people work. You know what I mean, man? It's just this stuff is so cool. So loop it back. There's going to be contact, pretty significant contact to the quarterback. We got a lot of tip signals. So we had the ball touched by the defense, and then this big lineman touched it. So it's really interesting. I know you can't see a whole lot of detail from the all 30, but would you say that's not the point of the all 30, right? I mean, the all 30 is more to just to kind of show movements, and I think we already covered that. But anyways, I'm telling you, it was a long weekend. It was a long weekend. That's okay. All right, so right here, center judge, Kev. The center judge is center judges were wide, man.
Yeah,
something 3 to 4 tight ends outside.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's one thing about the center judge, it's still a new position. No current coordinator, I think, has been a former center judge. So It's still a work in progress. And across the country, you see some very wide, some very narrow. I support the narrower. And of course, so that's just something you got to play with. But the one thing, you certainly want a good view when the quarterback rolls out like this, because it's coming to your side. We're hoping you have as good a look at this as the referee can. And the one thing you never want to end up is being straight line. So wherever you can get your feet to get a good angle on what's happening is where you want to move.
Credit the center judge here, because we saw a lot of this, but not on this play. Quarterback starts to go this way. All of us were trying to either like beat him or and the same thing with the referees. But here, look, he's not really moving at all, which I like.
Right.
I mean, if anything, your beneficial movement here would be this way.
Would be actually inside.
Yeah, and that's easy to play the result, but. If you don't know, do what this center judge did, which is basically stay still and make a judgment. Now, this looks like a pass. It's really interesting because watch this. Right here, and eventually I think here, we get tip signals. I will give a tip signal every now and then, but it's never immediate. I'm trying to, Kev, do you give immediate tip signals, or what would be the value? Do we want, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, do we want immediate tip signals if we have and by the way, what does that even mean? What does a tip signal even mean?
Sure. Well, the question is what it means. The tipping of the ball has rule implications, and it takes a lot of possible penalties and restrictions of players off. You can't have interference with a tip. You can't have IDP with a tip. I'm trying to think if there's something else I'm missing. But
this play. Who touches the ball right here?
I'm actually losing the ball in my eyes at this point. Okay, so is that the player that tips?
The player's number is 70.
Okay, so it's tipped up there where you have the circle. As a center judge, I am probably not giving that tip signal because 2 reasons. First, I've got heavy action on this quarterback.
Yes.
So I'm one, I may have to rule pass fumble, even though because I can feel that the referee has a clear shot of this. I'm probably, whatever it is, I'm probably going to let it play out and go to replay if we need to. And it would be that close.
If you have doubt.
If I have doubt, I'm letting it go to replay, right? Yep. Second, we have a defender coming in who, again, I agree with you, Center Judge, great job here of standing still as this is coming, having to rule on that, and then still after some significant contact, whether it's targeting, whether it's legal or whatever, still some significant contact and a player of opposing player. So I am staying with that action. So unless that player that hit the quarterback is the quarterback that is the player that tips the ball, I'm probably not giving a tip signal. And considering the amount of contact on the quarterback, if I give a tip signal, it'd probably be delayed. But I can't say that's all case because I do know I have given the tip signal before, but I think it's always the person right in front of the quarterback, not necessarily like what you have here.
Well delayed. So here's the thing. Center Judge never gave the tip signal. I was wrong. So my bad on that. Referee did. So one thing
from
the
with them 100% then.
There you go. One thing from the referee position, we give the tip signal now, but we decided to give the tip signal like now. And so our brain's telling us to give the tip signal. And if that's clouding, the decision-making process, how many decisions can we make at once? I don't know. Not very many. If we're thinking about get hard, okay, got to give the tip signal, and that's where we're focusing our energy, we might lose all perspective of what this contact is. And it's nothing. I mean, it's not a foul. But we just want to ask ourselves, are we at risk with a tip signal now? Because remember, I know we give the tip signal what appears to be well after, but we made the decision to do that while that contact was happening. So something to think about from the referee position. We know the ball was tipped, obviously. Let's kind of bank that and just finish our responsibility of this contact to the quarterback. Is that making sense what I'm saying, Tutan?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. No doubt.
Sure.
Yeah, and you could also give that, like you said, Brandon, you get reported on the foul, you have positive knowledge of a tip that you can work into your announcements. And then if there's something else, and if you're working with replay and a radio, you can just give them that information over the 020.
Yeah, so here we go. Number 70. It might have been number 72.
Hold on, Brandon. Hold on.
Back it up.
We need to make sure we, as a line of scrimmage official, if we're giving a tip signal, that means we're and Kevin used the word earlier, so I can use it, abdicating our responsibility in other areas of the field. Yeah. And if you look at the 30-yard line, our original key, if I'm the line of scrimmage official at the bottom, is going to the ground.
Yes, because where are we at here? This is a tight end. So we're here.
Do we have a tight end?
I think we're in doubles. I thought we were in doubles.
I think double.
Yes.
Tight end right. Tight right.
Yeah, tight end to the right of the formation.
So
2 by 2.
That's correct. So that means my key is in the backfield.
Initial responsibility, right?
That's right.
Okay. Doesn't mean we got to stare at him, but if something happens, we got to know. And so, you make a good point. I mean, so look at the timing of this, because this.
So how did our initial key get to the ground? And if I'm looking at the quarterback throw the ball, I really have no idea how my initial key got to the ground. And now we have some serious issues here.
Good point. We're just going to the ground here, and it appears like we're working the contact.
That's correct.
How else would we have enough to make a tip signal information? Because look, a tip signal doesn't mean the ball was tipped.
That's true. Hopefully it does.
Hopefully it does.
No, it doesn't. It means a legal forward pass was tipped. In other words, the legal forward pass did not cross the neutral zone. That is solely
yes,
what
we
that
talked about that
signal
before.
means.
That's correct. That's
you
correct.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if we're just given the signal that the ball, we're saying with that signal that legal forward pass did not cross the neutral zone. Well, it is not. We've talked about this a million times here. It is not our responsibility to judge whether this is a pass or a fumble.
Right.
This ball comes out crazy awkward. Okay, so it's not our responsibility from this position to judge pass fumble, but our responsibility from this position is to know what happened to this guy.
That's correct.
And then transition away from that if, eventually. So very interesting here. Now can I go to the big lineman or no?
Yeah, you can go to big number 70 now.
Thanks. 77, he might have been 72. His number started with a 7. Hey, we can even see from this wide angle, but we can see from this, he is what with this football, with his hands? What's that? Is that?
That's intentionally, yes, he's intentionally attempting to, I don't know if you want to say catch it, I guess. He's doing something, but it's intentional.
Yeah. It's not like this just strikes him without, and his touching the ball is incidental. No. He's trying to catch this for some odd reason. And what's interesting is maybe he knows the rule. Since we have a tip signal from a few different angles on this, all right, he can legally catch the ball. And if he did, he could advance. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because we have a tip signal, that means we're ruling this a legal forward pass. Okay. And by the way, let me go back to that. I'll go back to that because we got like 2 replay ramifications here, and we're getting short on time. That's okay. We'll get there. Ball's rolling on the ground now. This guy never caught the ball. This lineman never – do the linemen ever catch the ball? Very, very rarely. The ball's rolling on the ground. Okay, I'll show you. It's right now, right over the minus 35. It's right there. And what do we have? Uh-oh. Incomplete pass signal. Incomplete pass signal from the umpire. So we had a lot of people apparently watching the quarterback, Tuta, right?
Yes. The deep wing did too, because deep wing at the bottom had an incomplete pass as well.
And it took a while. Honestly, the deep wing stood there forever, and then eventually right here.
Yeah.
And so that we're talking about mirror signals.
Exactly.
Yep. We just mirrored signals again. But I think by this time the whistle was blowing, and we always kind of have that feeling that we have to do something. But I would, and as a deep wing, don't even signal here.
Don't do anything. That's right.
Right. Come in and dead ball officiate.
That's right.
Umpire, we cannot have an incomplete pass signal here. There's absolutely no way, because if we're ruling fumble in the backfield, I mean, now what? Right?
Right.
We cannot at all have an incomplete pass signal from our umpire here. And you can think you've got 99.9% but we're just not used to making these judgments from that position. Here's the thing. If we wanted the umpire, we could easily change mechanics to allow the umpire to rule incomplete, I think. That's not a good idea. But it could happen, but that's not what our mechanics are. So we've got other things we got to be looking at. All right. Oh my gosh, where do you want to go next? Let me go to this. Let's say this guy. Well, let's say this is a competitive, because this is ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. But let's say he does catch the football in advance for a significant gain here. But we see out of instant replay right here that really we do have a pass, but the defense didn't touch the ball. Reviewable or not?
Indisputable visual evidence that the pass was not touched by the defense.
Correct. Legal forward pass, not touched by the defense, Daniel. Is that so? Now we've got a big number 70 catching a legal forward pass and advancing it. Reviewable or not?
I feel like Kevin is really interested in weighing in on this.
Kevin, let me ask you this. Does this need an announcement to be reviewable, or is it just simply reviewable? Ruling on the field, pass touched by the defense, then caught by an originally ineligible receiver. Defense touches the pass, all players eligible.
Well, let's see. Now you're asking me the second part of the question. Now my mind's running through that.
I just keep talking until somebody else.
Sure. The basic.
I think you probably know that about me by now. Go ahead.
The basic answer is the touching of a forward pass is reviewable.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
The secondary question is then, how does it work in relation to a foul or the non-throwing of a foul? For example, if we have pass interference called on this play and we have a flag down,
right?
Replay and no one gives the tip signal. I think, and I don't have the book in front of me, I think replay could look at it and say the ball was touched. If we throw a flag, if we don't throw a flag, and it's because we think there's no that the ball was touched. I think for replay to get involved in that point, for us to put a flag down, the referee would have to make the announcement. There is no foul for OPI, DPI, IDP because the pass was first touched.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's when we need the announcement to get involved to where we could put a foul. We can take a foul off without the announcement. We can't put a foul down without an announcement.
So this is different. This one you can. I mean, there's a lot of them that you can't. Like, we need the announcement on a couple things, right? We rule pass, and it's we rule fumble, and it's really a pass, and it meets all the conditions of intentional grounding. Those we need that announcement. Here,
this is a touching of a pass by a player, right?
Pass by a player is really always reviewable.
Touching of a pass by a player is reviewable.
Right. So it's just so unique to think about all the different aspects that could happen as a result of our ruling here, and so it's. Replay rules are crazy.
and that's a specific one. I think, Brandon, it's specifically illegal touching by an ineligible.
Yeah.
I think that's in the rule as a specific sort of exception, or it just singles that one out, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think that's about it. I mean, I think we just lean on the touching of the pass.
Yeah.
Because with the pass interference, I mean, I'm kind of wrong actually, because if we have no flag on the pass interference thing, we do need an announcement of where the pass is.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, that's one of those ones that you can't put the flag down without the referee, because otherwise pass interference is judgment, right?
But the pass touched by the defense, is that different? If we have DPI and the ball was actually tipped.
Mm-hmm.
The ball was touched by the defense. We don't need an announcement. We don't need an announcement on that. But we flagged
it. We don't need an announcement.
That's because we have a flag down.
Right.
So it's inherent in our ruling that the pass was not touched by the defense.
But it's not. But I would say it's not inherent in our ruling, Brandon, because the field judge may have passed on DPI for judgment reason. May not.
Oh no, I'm saying we have a flag down. We have a flag down.
Oh, we have a flag down. Okay,
we have a flag down. So in other words, our ruling is that this is a legal forward pass that crossed the neutral zone, and there we have DPI. If we don't have a flag down, for some odd reason we say, I would have had DPI, but a pass was touched up there at the line of scrimmage. That you're right. That's when we need the announcement.
That's when we need the announcement to put
That's
a flag
when we
on
need
the
the
field.
announcement.
Right.
So if we rule this legal because we say that the pass was not touched, we need the announcement. There was no foul in the play for illegal touching. The ruling on the field is the defense did not touch the legal forward pass.
Agree.
Before number, 74 did or something. Whatever the announcement was. It's never happened, by the way.
Right. I think that's the general rule. If we want replay to put a flag down, we have to give them the announcement. Intentional, the illegal touching of a forward pass may be the exception.
Man, I think if they have indisputable video evidence on this, it would be hard pressed.
Yeah. See, Michael's got and he's got play 56 as the go-to on this in the casebook.
And it involves
casebook.
That's awesome. It involves illegal touching.
Yep. Caught. It's A10 throws a pass to A80 that is deflected into the air and caught by tackle A77. Officials penalize A77 for illegal touching. Replay shows that B99 touched the pass first. Reviewable play regarding whether B99 touched the ball reversed to no foul.
That's when we have the flag.
That's when we have it, right?
What if we don't? That's the question.
If we don't, we've got to.
We got to make the announcement.
With the exception of, I think illegal touching is always, like you pointed out, always
reviewable
as a specific exception in Rule 12.
Man, that's crazy.
And it's a specific exception, Rule 12.3.8E.
Gotcha.
If anybody's listening.
There it is. Hey, Tutai, you bring on Kevin, you know you're going to go deep into the rules, man.
Exactly. That's why I just sit back and listen and learn, man. I'm learning from the master.
Seriously. Interesting play. So start
with
E.
Of course, E. But the thing is, and John's making a point, E, I think, is the it's the touching by the original eligible who went out of bounds, not by number 78.
Oh, so that's different.
Yeah, that's number 80 going out of bounds and coming back in to touch the pass.
Yeah, that's always reviewable as long as contact's not involved.
Correct.
Or if you rule no contact and there's obvious.
That doesn't require an announcement.
No. What's your final answer on this one? If we don't rule a foul, we let number 70, rumble and bumble down the field several yards with the football. Huge competitive effect, obviously.
Well,
competitive effect. What do you think?
I think practically you're going to give an announcement anyway, because if number 78 catches a pass and is running down the field, hopefully one of the 8 of us on the field has figured out that something just went wrong because 78 shouldn't be catching it. So at that point, I'm thinking as a referee, you're either going to have an announcement that, look, it was a fumble that was caught in the air by 78, or the ball was tipped. So I think inherent in number 78 catching the ball, an announcement's coming, one way or the other. Whether now, if we're asking if we don't do it and we just miss it entirely,
that would be pretty bad if we miss number 78 catching a forward pass. That would be pretty bad.
Right.
I think I'm defaulting back to you want an announcement on that to get replay to put a flag on it, but I'm just thinking if 8 people see number 78 catching a ball in midair and running, we're going to have a conversation.
We got to talk about something.
And you're going to make an announcement. You're going to make some kind of announcement.
Yeah,
that's okay. And in that announcement is whatever you say in that announcement will trigger replay to review.
4 plays from camp. Oh man, what a blast, man! Seriously. Oh my gosh.
Hey Brandon, we have a treasure trove of plays too. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh man.
Oh look, quick. Michael asked a quick question. Brandon, you can take a look at the chat, but I think that would be the right answer, the right announcement for the referee to make.
I agree, and that's where we landed, right? 78 runs down the field, and if we're all just going to go mark the ball ready and let it play on without having any kind of conversation, we've totally missed the boat on managing the football game.
Yeah, we've got more problems than getting replay involved at that point.
Yeah. Well, just
good
thanks
catch by John on that with the rules too. So that works out.
Man. Kevin, really seriously, thanks to you for your efforts this weekend. Mr. McNair, if he's still out there, thanks to you for your efforts at the line of scrimmage. We had a bunch of other people, and Tutai, we had all kinds of people shooting this video. I mean, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now we have plays upon plays upon plays that we can look at and remember for those that were there, and then those coming up as the 2 events are coming up in June. All this video, it's a lot. It's a lot to process, but it'll be out there. I mean, you'll have it. You'll have it. You know, you can run it off the website. You can download it, submit plays so that we can have discussions back. Right? Because if we're wondering how we did, let's find plays and talk about actually how we did. What do you think, Daniel?
That's the only way you'll really know. That's the only way we'll really know. Got to evaluate the action. I think we'll be, processing plays for quite some time.
Well, we do like the process. I don't know if that's a bad pun or what. I don't know.
I don't like it that much based on what we just experienced. All right, man. This was good stuff. Good stuff. Great weekend. Get some sleep.
I'm ready for it.
And I don't know. We might find a couple more plays, don't you think? Maybe put them up here, but we'll also have traditional, real game plays as well going forward. Obviously.
Yeah, we had a game last weekend. We probably can get one or two plays.
We did. That game was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the result was
beat 'em up cats.
No, stop. No. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. All right, guys.
Love it.
Good night. Thanks for everything, Kev. Really appreciate it, man. Talk to you soon.
And anytime, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Kevin. Awesome job, man. Kevin McNair, awesome job. Appreciate you guys. Take care.
Take care.